subscribe and hit the bell icon and never miss another video.
Very glad that that's the image I'm projecting online.
I'm a feminine divine goddess.
Yes, you are.
I am obviously extremely privileged to be surrounded by men who've always encouraged me. So I feel that obviously changes how I perceive men in general around me.
So many questions asking me how my husband allows me to do what I do.
I am not here to actually change years of conditioning and years of upbringing.
Yesterday somebody has messaged me saying, unfollowing you for this post.
So I'm here for a very wonderful day with some of my favorite girls. Lots of girl power in the room today for Netflix streaming, which I kind of love. And I didn't get the memo that everyone's wearing saris today, but you guys look absolutely stunning.
Thank you.
So I thought today we would talk a little bit about, of course, Women's Day and how you feel about being, strong, empowering women online. And I'm not going to do the glass ceiling thing. I'm not going to talk about, how hard it is in a man's world, because honestly, there are more women creators, than men. And maybe it's just the way that it is because we are just more talented, but don't use that part. But I have the very lovely Prajakta here with me, Ritasha, and of course Kusha, and I'm big fans of all of your work. You guys have come so far. And I really have to ask you this, okay? Because you actually represent a boy in your content as well, right? So have you ever, thought about why you have given, him this personality, or are you trying to represent, in the modern world, a boy in a certain way?
I love that you think that so much thought has gone behind Montu. I'm very glad that that's the image I'm projecting online. No, I didn't. When I started doing characters a few years ago, I just thought, so I am the only child. I didn't grow up with a sibling, but a lot of my friends, close friends, have siblings. And I've always seen how their annoying younger, brother or sister are. And I just used that. I think everything that they used to crib to me about was something that I always had in mind when I was writing for Montu. But no, I didn't really think like that. But it's very flattering that it looks it.
No, I think it's amazing because, for the audience out there, especially the girls, they see Montu's there, you're telling him what to do sometimes, so it's not the average, normal, okay, the girl has to listen to whatever the boy says, or Montu's getting more privileges than you, because Montu is definitely not getting more privileges than you.
Montu's not winning at life anytime.
He's not winning at life. But I think it's really amazing that you're able to, connect with so many young girls in this kind of content, and I think the same thing for everyone else here. So Ritasha, I want to know, it's the first time we're having a conversation.
Yes, hello.
And I'm such a big fan of the way you do your content. It's so real. It's just very relatable and fun and warm, And I know a lot of times people just focus on the fact that, okay, you're doing things on body positivity. And right, it's not about that. And I think that I'm really tired of people putting women in boxes, especially on Women's Day, because, right? So I would love to know from you, what is it that you feel is your, what is your one identity? What is the one thing that you really want people to take away from your content?
I'm a feminine divine goddess.
Yes, you are.
Yes. I don't think there's any one identity. That's the thing. We're also focused on I'm this or I am that. I firmly believe that there is no I am this. There's no certainty. We're so young, all of us. Even in your 40s and 50s, you're still discovering life as you go along.
44, guys, 44.
Exactly, and you're 44 for the first time. So you're still figuring it out. Our parents are still figuring out how to be 60 and 70. So I don't think that there's only one identity. I wear many hats.
Absolutely, and I think that's how it should be.
Yeah.
And Kusha, oh my God, I love chatting with you. You did such a fun chat with us for Girl Tribe as well. And, I think it's so important to really have fun with your content as well. And I think one of the things I love is that you represent a lot of positive masculinity in your content as well. And, I think, especially on Women's Day, and we spend a lot of time, unfortunately, I think bashing men because, yes, there are a lot of creepy men out there. And we focus on that sometimes. But I think we need to also focus on the positive masculinity that's out there. So I would love to know from you, what is the support system you have from him the content you guys create is so fun. He has his own, a fun take on stuff as well. So I'd love to know more about that.
So, I am obviously extremely privileged to be surrounded by men who've always encouraged me. And I say that because even though that's the bare minimum, and I genuinely do think that's the bare minimum, that you need to encourage us just for existing. But my father, for instance, I have another sister, so he has 2 daughters. So I'm sure, like how she said that, you're something for the first time. So he was a father to 2 daughters for the first time. And I'm sure he had massive, this learning curve that he had to take to be able to understand how to raise 2 girls and how to be a supportive father at the least, right? So I feel that obviously changes how I perceive men in general around me, and obviously with Zorawar. He's extremely supportive, which again is such bare minimum that I don't feel like sharing it so much, because I think he's supposed to do it. I think that's how I look at it. And I know that's, I'm privileged in the sense that privilege is not extended to many people around me. I've seen it with my friends, I've seen my married friends, and I've seen that they have their own struggles when it comes to have the men around them support them. So obviously I've spoken about, when I was this one time in lockdown, when there was this one very minor controversy or something, if you can call it that, which just keeps happening in this creator world. And I had taken that moment to sort of make things clearer for people. It was more for myself, because I was almost like telling myself this is what I think of the whole situation, rather than making people learn it. So definitely in that sense, but I can never pull off male characters. I feel like my bust size would not consent to it.
That's where I can do it. I can never. I've tried doing like cishet men, and I feel like I just fail at them. Like I've tried doing like a South Jolly boy, but it just never happens. So yeah.
But can I also add this? I remember one of the first video that I saw of Kusha was Kusha sitting in her car, and it was just, I think it was a live that you uploaded. It was a video you uploaded on Instagram, and she's like, there's someone, so many questions asking me how my husband allows me to do what I do. And she's like, I don't ask for permission. Like he's supportive and that's okay. And I remember seeing that and I was like, why hasn't anybody said this before? And that's after that video is when I followed you.
Thank you.
We were already
it's so
following
interesting
you.
because, I don't cook, but my husband cooks, and everyone's like, oh, you're so lucky. Now, that's fine if you're saying it because, yes, I'm super lucky because I would have starved in lockdown. But from the perspective of he's a man and that's why he's cooking. So there's, kind of a thin line about that. But I'd love to know from everyone here, and I feel the same as sometimes I wonder about it. Is the audience more judgmental for women creators? Do you feel that we get more judgment? At the same time, do we get more love? Do we, what has your experience been?
I think for me, so far, the 7 years that I've spent creating content, putting myself out there, I have seen that the audience is more judgmental towards content now, more than they were before. A lot of shit sailed before. It doesn't anymore. You get called out, कि नहीं चल रहा है तो भैया नहीं चल रहा है, do better. I have this discussion with a lot of my other creator friends, and although it starts with, listen, like this is not working, and then it goes to, but listen, that didn't work for me also. So it's a bittersweet situation where I'm like, okay, great, all right. So it's all of us, and that really doesn't have to do with the fact that I'm a woman. So I think the audience is more judgmental, most of the audience, and I speak only for the audience that I have. I cater a lot more to metros because that's the kind of traffic that I get. But what I've realized and learned so far is that they're definitely, they know what they want. They know what they don't want. They are very loud and clear about what they like and they don't like, because they're spending a lot of money and time consuming whatever it is you are serving. So they're definitely judgmental, but I think with my experience, it's more about content. I haven't reached a point where it has anything to do with me being a woman. And I understand that comes from a big, big place of privilege.
That's really, I think, so well said. And I think one of the things that I really wish that we could fix is this creepy guys in our DMs. I know we joke about it, right? We were like, oh, this guy's being... But I asked a guy once, I'm like, I was like, why do you do it? Like, why do you send me these creepy messages? He said, because you won't notice me otherwise. And I thought that was so telling. And he was a 16-year-old boy. And I think on Women's Day, maybe we can take an opportunity to tell maybe the creepy guy in our DMs, what can he do differently? Like, how is he going to actually make an impact? And I'd love if anyone has a thought on that. Like, is there a way we can help our boys do better, be better?
You know, I used to engage in conversations just like you did. Remember that one time when you were calling people out, I mean, calling the creepy guy DMs out, and you reached out to a cyber cop also. And I remember that entire episode because I think you and I were talking around that time about this exact thing. And I have actually engaged with men online when they speak to me like that, or when they say something that is inappropriate, and I also try to understand the psyche behind it. But I've realized it's not my labor, right? It's not my labor, and I am not here to actually change years of conditioning and years of upbringing and the way the society is, which is anyway lopsided. So I do not want to put in the labor because I am here to do my work, and I know the things that I want to support and I want to work for, and I know the causes that I care deeply about, and this is a lost cause.
Also, I mean, we are on the internet the whole time. Nobody was there to tell us that this is inappropriate. Don't talk to other people like that. I mean, the internet is just a vehicle. You know, in life also generally, anyone who is in their right senses wouldn't say shit like that too. So it's really not our job to tell people how to behave. I mean, figure it out. You're old, you're 16.
You're old enough.
Yeah, you're old enough. You're an adult.
Pull yourself together.
Yeah.
And there will be consequences. I feel like I know that people can really go on and on in their lives without really facing any consequences, which is the case in a lot of cases. But I feel like there will be consequences to stuff like this if they'll continue to behave like this, which is obnoxious. And shame on you.
Let's just change tracks on this. I'd love to know from you, honestly, what do you feel has been the best thing about putting yourself online? What have you enjoyed about it?
I think because of the large part of the audience, which is young women who are so supportive of me online, that's helped me in turn to better my sense of self-worth, my self-esteem, all of that. But I just want to quickly say about the creepy guys earlier also. Not creepy, but even just like annoying people who... Yesterday somebody has messaged me saying, unfollowing you for this post. I'm like, cool. I had shared something because there was a very graphic image doing the rounds of the ruling party and some really horrible like hate symbol on an official page. And everyone called it out and we reported it. Eventually it was taken down. I called it out on my stories. And somebody's replied to that story saying, unfollowing you for this post. I was like, block?
Yeah.
I don't care if you've unfollowed me. It doesn't matter. I will block and delete you before you... Like, somebody said it so well. This is my house. Get off my front porch. Yeah. You don't belong here. But yeah, that's enough angst from me. Toning it down to ladylike levels.
Your face just turned red.
What? Yeah, because like a lot of times, a lot of young creators are like, I had the worst morning because I was going through my others folder. I was like, why?
Yeah.
Why did you open it? If you know, I mean, I feel like somewhere, exactly, right? It's our home and we choose what we do on it. Let's surf the internet and not let the internet surf us. You know what I'm saying? That make that choice.
Analogies today, man. You guys.
No, bro, like honestly, I just feel like, so many times, so I hear a lot of my friends go, listen, I really need to go on a social detox. I said, why you reached till waited till you reached here? Like you were using your apps, right? So you can control that. And I feel like because it's our job and we have to be on it so much, it's very important for us to have that control. And so for all other creators, so when it comes to these messages, I'm just like Kusha said, it's not our labor.
Call me out on grounds that make sense. Yeah. Like if I've done something stupid where I've made light of the situation, where some marginalized community is misrepresented, call me out. Yeah. Tell me, I'll learn, I'll do the labor, and I'll come back with a better representation.
Absolutely.
You are telling me something about my body, and you're telling me you're just plain unfunny. Yeah. Now that's an opinion. You can just go home and like, I don't know what to do with that opinion. Yeah. Anytime anyone tells me unfollowing you, I'm like, oh. Oh.
Life is over. No, and last question on this portion. I'd love to know, because there's so many, and I think the thing about creators is, right, it's been the relatability. Like, I could be this person too. And I think that's the dream and the joy everyone has. Now, when you cross to a level of fame, how has the fame, or has it at all, changed you? And what would you like an audience to know who might now feel that, oh man, now they've crossed over? They're on the other side of where I could never get, you know, because I can see that with a lot of audiences, you know. So do you think fame has changed you at all? And how do you take your audience with you with that relatability?
I can't say anything about this because I don't think it's reached that point for me yet. And also, I'm not a content creator. So the relationship I have with my audience is very different.
I think I have a very clear understanding of the fact that every single opportunity coming my way right now comes from my audience. Every new project I get to do, every new panel I get to speak on, every new role I get to take comes from the fact that my audience supported me online. And that comes from the relatability. So if I honestly think that if I ever go on to a place where my audience thinks that I'm not reachable, I'm on a downward slide away from everything I've worked on. So fame, I mean, the impact has increased, the responsibilities have increased, the reach is more, the conversations are longer, deeper, which I love. But other than that, we get a lot of free stuff every now and then, which is fun.
I feel like I'm very honest with my audience, as Prajakta said, that if I'm having days where my mental health is really not up to the mark, so I will tell them that, you know, I'm not feeling okay. And the beautiful relationship that I have with my audience, and they're like, "Theek hai, take your time, come back stronger." So I feel like once that kind of transparency is reached, it's great. But I also have learned now that I am not the appreciation I get, I am not the criticism I get. I feel like your personal growth will have to simultaneously go and in which you're the stakeholder. I feel like there can't be so many, like you can't have like 2 million stakeholders in your personal growth, right? They could have opinions on you, but none of the opinions make you, right? You are who, you know how far you've come, right? Because you've lived this life. So yeah, it's a very very neutral relationship at the same time, but also extremely thankful. Like, I'm very honest with them, and I'm very, very appreciative, of course, of the love they shower on me. But at the same time, I don't let anything get to me, like not the praises that they sing, and not the very, very critical things that they sometimes tell me about.
And I'll tell you, and what I really appreciate, and because I'm very old now, and I've done a lot of, you know, sort of interviewing in the Bollywood space and seen how difficult it's been. Like, they have to have every hair in place, no pimple inside. And I think the great thing with creators, it started off with the, you know what, I don't care. I'm going to be without makeup without making it a thing about being without makeup, you know? And I think that's been really relatable. I think it's really helped a lot of women to not feel that they have to look a certain way, or they can't, you know, be famous, or you know, even, you know, be impressive to their friends, or even look at themselves in a mirror, you know, without a filter. And I think that I'm really proud of you guys, if I can say that you guys have
add
done
something
that.
to this? So I have cousins in Delhi, okay, and they keep telling me, you know, I hate being on Instagram because it just makes me feel bad about my body. I said, you're just following the wrong people, you know. I mean, if we have a certain, you know, set of people who airbrush and Photoshop and like all of that. But then, yeah, there is also a Ritasha, there is a Kusha, there are wonderful
You too.
There is me, follow me.
Real
I think, you know, it's high time as people we customize our use of the internet and sort of let it favor us and make us feel good, because it's a whole yin and yang situation. So if you are feeling insecure about the way you are because you're online, then you're just following the wrong people.
And I loved her look in Mismatched, actually. If you look at
Me
the
too,
first...
with the round glasses, everything.
There was... it wasn't glam. Obviously, it couldn't be, because that's how the character is written, right? But the fact that you could see the pores on her skin, which is real, right? You could see her skin, and you could see the expressions and everything, and I think that was great. And you almost see, like, from the first episode when she has that clown makeup, which she puts...
I did that myself, by the way.
I have no doubts. And you know, and then as the series progresses, I am constantly only looking at her expressions and not how well her makeup is done. And I think that's fantastic. I think that was really cool. I think in one of the scenes where you look at Rohit and you just raise one of your eyebrows.
When they're fighting.
When they're fighting. So I feel like it was very real. It was very true to the character. And I think that's just really cool.
That's awesome. And I have to say big props to you and to Netflix too for creating characters that are relatable and real and giving them an opportunity to come to life on air. And now, of course, since we're creators, we're going to go make a bunch of reels. But thanks so much for being part of this video.
Thank you.
And happy streaming day.
Thank you.
Yes.